The South Korean investigators continue a joint probe with their U.S. counterparts into Saturday's crash of an Asiana Airlines in San Francisco. Public interest is now beginning to focus on the compensation for the two dead Chinese students. The amount of compensation will ultimately depend on which country the victims' families choose to file their cases in. Should they file the case in China, China's air transportation rule stipulates that the families of the deceased may receive up to 400,000 yuan or $65,000 in compensation. But should the proceeding be filed in South Korea, at least $212,000 can be compensated. But if the case is brought up in the U.S., the families might get no less than $1.5 million. Some suspect that the South Korean airlines may try to do their best to avoid being taken to the court in the U.S. to minimize their losses. A spokesman from the airline refused to comment on the speculation. On the other hand, passengers on board the Flight 214 have been describing the moment the plane hit the ground and the frantic efforts to get passengers off the plane. Meanwhile, the families of the two Chinese girls who died have arrived in San Francisco. Our reporter Yakinda McGee has more.
You see people, they should need immediate attention because they're alive and walking around.
For the passenger and crew of crashed Asiana Airlines Flight 214, there are countless stories of survival.
Holding things so tight, and bang, the impact was so powerful. If I did not have that one more strap going around my chest, I'll probably hit the ceiling of the plane.
Numerous tales of tragedy and unparalleled acts of heroism. Like this Asiana flight attendant, surrounded by smoke, then flames, she risked her life to save injured and trapped airline passengers. And would you believe she did it all while nursing a broken tailbone?
My brain was very clear, and I planned what I had to do immediately. Actually, I was not thinking, but acting. As soon as I heard emergency escape, I conducted the evacuation. When there was a fire, I was just thinking to extinguish it, not thinking that it's too dangerous or what am I going to do.
Now that the shock is wearing off, the reality is setting in as the focus shifts to the families. The parents of the two teenage girls killed in this crash arrived in San Francisco last night to claim their children's bodies.
Our prayers are with the families of the two young girls, Yumeng Yanan and Wang Lenjia, who lost their lives on Saturday. Indeed, we know that no words can console their loved ones.
But the president of Asiana Airlines hopes his words may offer some solace in the face of adversity. Today, he arrives in San Francisco to apologize to victims' families. But if yesterday's apology in Korea is any indication, he may be in for quite a bit of turbulence. Yakinda McGee, CCTV, San Francisco.